another lady come in? Where's she? Another lady walked in. She's like, oh, what you at? Okay.
Come back. Not good. You live, Tanner?
You are live.
Forget that. It doesn't have very much because it's all open.
Yeah. There's nobody online.
He's probably talking here for a while. And then that's okay.
We're live. Do you want to?
Go right ahead.
Well, thanks for coming. Greg Duggan, town manager.
Dawn Hill-Fleury, Selectboard. I'm Tammy Getchell. I do this part. I'm the assistant to the manager.
Introducing?
I guess so. Why not?
Ken Signorello, town resident and serving on 2 committees or commissions for the town.
John Carroll, town resident.
Thank you guys for coming.
So as you're probably well aware, since you're here, we have town meeting that's coming up on Tuesday. A little bit different this year in that in the past we've always, apart from COVID years, had 4 votes for town meeting. This year, all the voting can be happening by ballot on Tuesday. We're also doing an event on Monday night. We're calling it a town showcase. It's sort of the informal part, the Essex specialty. And then the informational hearing is something that's required by statute, and it's going to be similar format to town meetings in the past. It'll be discussion, running through everything that's on the ballot, but rather than voting on the budget or voting on other items, it'll be all by discussion. We're trying to prepare people to vote for next time. So if there's any specific questions or things that people are interested in, otherwise John and I guess could run through the ballot and what's on the ballot this year.
I have an interest in the senior center. I saw in here that they're having a senior center. So is all of this due to the split? Okay. So is there still going to be a senior center outside? No.
Well, for the city people. I'm a member of the senior center. So I can help. So I go to the senior center and I'm resident.
Okay.
And it used to be a shared facility. The physicality is provided by the city, and the town provided the manpower. Not anymore.
Okay.
Now the city is trying to figure out what to do about it. It's strictly now a city team. And they are currently providing a very nice person from their parking lot. So it's still functioning. Strictly a city function at this time.
So can town people go there?
Oh yeah, I'm going there. I play duplicate bridge on Thursday.
So it's not blooming, it's not.
Future. So that building is going to be renovated.
Okay.
The plans at this point are, I think, June, and they're going to start the renovation. So the senior center function will have to go someplace else. That hasn't been determined where yet.
So it's just going to go through a renovation.
There's no promises for what's going to happen after either.
Okay.
So when if I can jump in, when we separated with Essex Junction, as Ken said, they own the center, we had the staff. And so our town staff has been shifting to continue to provide senior programming in other ways. So at the town offices right now, when I left, the parking lot was packed, the room was packed. I don't know if they're doing yoga or bone builders or something.
My wife was there.
Okay. They're doing bone builders. Probably, I think 3 days a week we have senior programs happening at the town offices. We've also been looking at doing some programming, continuing with some of the mahjong, the bingo, some of the senior center programs, offering them elsewhere in town. As far as the senior center, Ken's going to know more than I think Dawn and I do, because it's becoming more of a,
I go there, yeah.
it's the Essex Junction thing. So we've really turned our focus away from what's happening at the center and how do we provide the programming and services for seniors outside of the center.
I can't speak for other programs, but the one I'm in, Duplicate Bridge, honestly, it's majority town resident. At the Essex Junction Senior Center.
Okay. So there may be a change. You said may be a change. They're looking at doing that other places
Yes.
as a senior center function.
As a senior services function. So we won't actually, the town will no longer have a senior center, at least for the time being. So we're looking at shifting a bit towards senior services, senior programs. So continuing to provide some of those popular events, popular services. We're just finding a different place to do that, to offer that. This is down the road, but I'll put out as an aside. The town recently purchased 8090 Upper Main Street, which is the land over there on Woodford Road. We're going to be spending, we just had some RFPs come in to help us with the design phase, do a lot of public engagement around the future of that site. So we've been loosely talking about, we need a fire station. Fire station's old, it's outdated, it's getting small for what it is. Our town offices right now are no longer in the town. They're functional, they work, they're getting tight, but at a certain point, whether that's 2 years from now or 20 years from now, we imagine people are going to say, we want a new town offices in the town. As part of that, senior center is on the table. The library is getting tight and small for what it is. They don't have any programming space. They don't have no one storage. We've heard for years the desire for a community center. We're holding town meeting now. It's going to be at Essex Middle School because that's what we have. So I think a lot of these things are going to be discussions about what are the facilities does the town need in its entirety, and how do we get there? How do we get there? How do we pay for those things? What's the right timeline? So I say all that of a long way of saying there might be a senior center in the future that the town owns and runs, but we don't have that now. It's not in the immediate future. So we're focused more on that programming based services.
Those two lines are very close to me.
Okay.
Yeah, and we're off of Old Stage and Houston.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Condos behind the So you own, the town owns the lots, but there's still planning to go to what instead of when.
Correct. What and when, how to pay for it. All that.
Now, I just get maybe one more question. So you said about the fire department, once you, is that right?
Yeah, so we went into it and done big. The Selectboard was the one that had the idea to go after municipal facilities, municipal site. Staff did some research. This was a site that we thought it was available. We went through a whole investigation process. It's for all the reasons of town offices are going into town. The fire station, we had a report done a few years ago about space needs for different facilities. The fire station, it's getting old for what it is.
Don't forget the location. Fire station's not in a good spot to say, well, that's a good spot.
Right, that's going on now. It'll be on the search. And so it's as the town grows and we have different needs, we're looking at what is the fire equipment that we need to serve the town, types of vehicles. Some of the new vehicles aren't going to fit in the old station. So it's looking at, that's identifying a need. So basically the site that can hold and allow the municipality to grow. Also be a keystone to this whole area. The town center really helped the town center develop. It's a 32 acre site. About 18 of those acres are developable. A lot of these wetlands and stuff that makes sense. Rough estimates, we think we probably need about 8 to 12 acres for town facilities over the coming years. So that other 8 to 10 acres is going to be part of the conversation about is there a private development, a public-private partnership. So that's sort of what does the town want to see, what do the residents want to see, who supports downtown, who supports town center. And then we can sort of have bigger conversations about how do we find the right developer, how do we find that housing partner, how do we find what the community needs are, what the desires are, how do we help make that happen in addition to the additional facility. So I don't know if that answers the question about the fire department specifically, but
Essex Rescue has expressed interest in coming up too, which would be helpful.
I'll put them together.
Yeah.
And I probably don't know what to do.
it's because where it is now, it's basically on the same site as the public works facility. So they would be able to expand in there, they'd be able to park some additional vehicles in that gets public works vehicles, getting too small for some of the newer types of fire vehicles. So we would just repurpose it, let public works expand a bit. Right now, the public works administration, which is about 5 people, there's 4 there now. 5, just budgeted. They're in that small white building that's left from the library.
Okay.
So if the fire station moves out, that allows some more space for the public works administration team to move into that site. So all the public works can be more together as well. So it's kind of this, like, we're looking at all the moving parts, potential reshuffling.
A lot of
You
those
never know.
buildings.
You never know.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Good. I volunteer for the Essex, the anti-place. I'm not on the board. I'm not speaking to any party. but at least the building is being sold where they are. And so there's concern about who's going to buy it, what's our rent going to be like, they're going to kick us out, unknown right now. And so they just kind of want to find out what's available in the town. Because we can buy this service for the town's residents, Jericho, and Western. But roads don't always live in this. So, anyway, I just wondering, is there, something's going to fall out? That probably won't happen until after, we don't know when the building's going to be sold, probably sooner than later. So we probably have to evolve this sooner. But maybe down the road, you never know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, just reach out. That's a public service. It's like,
Right.
It's kind of prompted that the cold sector got lucky that they built a new fire station in the neighborhood.
Okay. Yeah, right next to the school there, yeah.
The timing worked out for that.
yeah, I don't know where they were before. They got a building. Yeah.
That's right, yeah, maybe even have public works facility. Yeah. Is that where the admin staff is right now for public works?
The white building.
That white building? Like if they were to vacate that, I'm just thinking aloud, that could be another option too.
If I'm picturing the right building, it's not a real big.
No, it's got,
They use quite a bit of space for all the refrigerators.
they're looking at doing a little bit of an expansion and renovation to it now because we have another staff person that we have budgeted we're trying to hire, but there's nowhere to put them right now. So they're trying to reorganize in there a little bit, which might create a little bit more space. That don't need just something to talk about. Yeah, no, very good.
Any questions about the budget and your money?
I guess I have another question. Is the one about revealing salaries of the town employees? It sounds like that became the issue. I would say it seems like it's very simple to just get a petition and say, get enough people to sign it and say, I want this to be an article. That's the concept. What made that?
5% of that.
What made that work to the top?
I can speak from the town end. I think Ken was involved in the petition. So,
Okay, I'm just curious.
you want to go first, Ken?
This is the salary was something that's been asked for many years. Actually, it's something that is done in other municipalities. Burlington, for example, that has been Burlington for 24 years. Rutland City does it, and Barry City does it. So it's something we've been asking for. We asked for it at the select board about 2 months ago, just to be put on the ballot, not to be done.
Yeah.
And the voters could have a say.
Yeah.
And they did not opt to give it, so they did a petition instead.
Okay. And so is it to be more transparent?
But there are a number of reasons to do it. Number one is certainly to be more transparent. We as taxpayers pay these salaries. It's really nice to know how much we're paying these people.
Yeah.
And, there's always this issue with equitable pay.
Yeah.
Making sure that groups that have been underpaid historically are getting properly paid. It's not only for us, it's also for them. So we definitely make sure that people can be aware of her position, for whatever people might be in.
Okay.
When particularly historically been underpaid, it would be able to easily see that when it can be.
Okay. And do the employees, are they
We knocked on lots of doors. Some of them were employees.
Yeah.
And I would say that 8 to 9 out of 10 were on board.
I'm surprised. I come from a corporate world, and it's like, I can't
Remember,
imagine everybody's salary.
Corporate is a private entity.
Yeah.
These are public entities.
Yeah.
we're talking about. And in fact, the state of Vermont publishes their salaries on the website, not on the website.
The way that part of it goes is it to be able to public.
In a public situation, especially when it's taxpayer funded, it kind of makes sense to me.
Oh. Okay. All right.
Speaking from the town perspective, it's public, as Ken said, it's always been public. We get public records requests every so often. We always comply with them and turn over staff salaries. We heard it from residents. There's been a handful of residents over the years who come to select board meetings and ask about printing in the annual report. We've always said, submit a public records request. We're happy to turn them over. I think to your point, she's been trying to be sensitive of the balance between transparency and open records and giving information over when it's requested. Also recognizing that people can be sensitive about their salaries and, coming from the corporate world, I think there's a lot of people who are not used to that. And even in the public world, it's public. You have to take pride in your salary, but also people are sensitive. So it's kind of this balance of, well, we'll give it over when it's been requested. We haven't put it in the annual report yet. If this advisory vote is passed, I'm assuming it will, but if it passes, I fully expect we'll put that information in the report going forward. But that's part of why it hasn't happened at this point, but hasn't made the information available and people have asked for it.
And I should have said the information is public information if you ask for it.
Oh, you can get it now?
Yeah.
If you ask for it.
Tammy handles the public records requests. If anyone's curious to see the salaries,
It's not private
information.
information.
It's not private information,
No, it
but
is
it's
not.
just not public.
It's just not public. So we're asking for it to be public.
Well, then you want to step closer? All right. Okay, so I guess I'll be
Sure with it. I mean, I brought it up to the department heads at the last meeting, and there were some questions about, really? Why? What's the intent? And they're public. People want to know. But yeah, I think there is some hesitancy from some staff about.
The folks in Burlington got used to it. I like being able to look it up personally. I've experienced it living in a community where it was public. It was nice, Vicky Hammond lives next door. He worked in public works. I wonder how much getting paid. You can answer that question how you do without asking.
Okay.
Years ago, they used to do it anyway.
That I did not know.
They did it, and then they went more private.
School, I can't remember if the town did. The school did it. Every school report, you had all the administrators, like all the teachers, everything was printed. It was all public. And then it changed.
We have a question about the second question. That was come back to a two-part question. The second one was the town makes tax agreements with businesses that are coming to town, typically when they first come to town. That's an attractive, it's usually a 2, 3, maybe year agreement, something like that. I don't know if it's any farther than that. So it asks for who those businesses are that are getting tax agreements, and how much in that particular year they got. But we subsidize them. The other taxpayers subsidize them. So it's nice to know if you're subsidizing a business, what kind of business is it?
Yeah.
And there's just getting into more details than that. Also public, if anyone made a public records request, we would hand over that information. We currently have 2 properties that have tax stabilization agreements. One of them is a 10-year property, or 10-year agreement. That's for Blodgett Ovens up on Martin Drive. The other one is a 4-year agreement for Gravel, which is off of Red Pine Circle, which is off of Thompson Drive, which is off of Allen Martin. Same in that Saxon Hill RPDI area. That's a 4-year agreement. It is a taxpayer subsidized thing. We have a both tax sale policy about when they're implemented, how we offer them, how we agree to them. There's some conditions there about how it has to benefit the town. It's often, I can't remember if it's always, but it's often new buildings, new things coming on the grand list, so it's an incentive to get those companies to locate and build in Essex to begin with. Rarely, if ever, is it on a building that's already in place, employees already here. So it's, Blodgett, I don't know how people know the story, but they've been in Burlington for 100 years. Their parent company was looking at moving them out of state, getting out of Burlington, pushing them down. This was before I was working for the town, but not really involved with it. The conversations were had that Essex was able to offer a tax stabilization agreement. We kept Blodgett in Vermont. They moved into a new building in Essex. They brought more value to the grand list. They have 300 some odd employees. I think part of the agreement they're supposed to keep 170, 180 employees employed in Essex at all times. So those are sort of the reasons you do them. You take them on a case-by-case basis. To Ken's point, yes, it's taxpayer subsidized. It's also, in most, if not all cases, something that wouldn't be here otherwise. So
My point is, keep in mind that it might be a good thing in some people's mind that it's here, and some people's mind it might not be.
And
It depends on the business.
The way they've been set up, it's just on municipal taxes, so it's not school taxes. We don't have any control over those. The Blodgett one was they paid no municipal taxes for 5 years, and then they're ramping up to 100%. Like they get up to 20, 40, 60 years. Lather was a smaller company. The idea was to try to incentivize new businesses, entrepreneurship. What they're doing is they take glass, recycled glass, and they break it down and turn it into construction material.
They foam it.
They turn it into foam. So the idea was to incentivize environmentally friendly businesses, entrepreneurialism. They had a smaller agreement. I think it was no taxes for 2 years, and then 25%, 75%, and the fifth year they're paying 100%. So structured based on number of employees, value of the property. It's a fluid type of thing. There's a tax rate policy, like I said, that kind of lays out the conditions and criteria of what the town would be looking for.
They guaranteed a number of new employees too. That's part of it.
And it's the select board that, that's right. They had, guaranteed a certain number of employees, a certain number of female and/or formerly incarcerated and/or new American employees. So kind of bring diversity to the workforce too. It's usually staff, the managers who will work on those agreements, bring them to the select board, and the select board is the one that ultimately approves whether or not to. But yeah, that'll be another thing that could be in the report. Yeah, and then to Ken's point, some people may not like it for various reasons.
There's a guy on the other side of Jackson Hill who would say, yeah, no, not so much. The smell and the noise, yeah.
Other stuff on the ballot, there's the budget, Dawn mentioned, we have our town plan is up. That's on an 8-year cycle. The state takes us through a new town plan every 8 years, so that's been done. Community Development Department, Planning Commission, a lot of boards and committees have spent the past couple of years working on that, preparing that. 2 advisory questions, and then there's 2 looking for elections. Good question.
Redo it.
We start all over again.
Redo it.
Find out. To get the people to vote again.
We would, yeah. And it's hopefully it passes because it forms the basis for planning and for zoning regulations, subdivision regulations. You need to have a town plan in place to have those. It makes us gives us a lot of availability for grants, especially state grants. It makes us more competitive. A lot of cases you need to have a town plan to go after those grants. Something we started 2 years ago, which we'll do again, Tammy, we should talk, is kind of an exit survey for town meetings. We've done it in front porch forum, it's been online. I think we've had 100 or so responses the past couple of years, but it just gets a sense of where people are voting. If the budget were to fail, if the town plan were to fail, hopefully we'll have a sense of why, and we can adjust versus
Where do you
just
go from there?
guessing and shooting in the dark.
I'm pretty confident the town plan will pass. I was involved in getting a lot of the feedback for the town plan. And in fact, 2 sections of it I wrote most of. We met at 9 different locations at 9 different times with different groups of people all over town at different places.
You got a lot of it.
We did get a lot of input. We spent a lot of effort consolidating that. We made for each section, divided up sort of the idea into like 7 different areas, and then we made a word cloud for each of those. You can see what the priorities are. And I'm pretty confident it'll go.
There's a good diverse representation of people in the town. It wasn't just one set group.
We worked very hard to go to the people as opposed to asking them to come to us. That's always been one of the big problems that we have. We'll have a seminar or a work session, and we'll get people to come in, and it's always the same people. So instead, we went to the Mill Lumber, for example. We had a session at the library. We had a session at Susan's place. We had a session at the museum over by the fort. So all over town, all different times, and different people came. That's what we were after, and I think it worked.
Yeah. Hopefully it will. We have to adapt it. Yeah. Okay.
There's one right here, in fact.
On anything?
We will get the family. And did you have any questions or anything else?
Is it time for me to unload my bricks?
That's what we're here for.
All right, the annual report is what I wanted to talk about a little bit. I'm a little bit concerned about how the whole Economic Development Commission section got
What
done.
page are you on that?
84. The content of these 2 pages is not what the Economic Development Commission did. It's mostly what the Community Development Department did. I'll be specific for one case at least. Some of this might have been before I was on. I'm only on the EDC now for 6 months, I think it is.
Do you know who wrote that? You made that right?
That's the problem. Never came to the commission. Never saw it. For the Conservation and Trails one, I wrote it and brought it to the committee, and we tweaked it and then submitted it. I don't know how this came into being. I asked our chairperson if she's even seen it. She hasn't responded. So I don't really know where it came from, but I do know.
Jean did write it, and then she sent it to Rebecca, and Rebecca okayed that.
Good. That's what I did not know. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because one of the items here says that Senator Sanders, Senators Welch, Representative Ballot, State Directors joined the Commerce Commission, Goldstein, the Greater Burlington Industrial Corporation. I asked to go to this meeting. I was told I couldn't go. No member of the commission was able to go. So what's it doing in here is something that the Economic Development Commission did. We did not. I couldn't participate. And there's a few things like that. Some of them might be from the prior 6 months. I can't be 100% sure, but a number of them I'm saying to myself, I didn't know we did this. And I've been to every meeting. I'm the clerk. I write the minutes. So I'm finding that I think these are things that happen, just not part of the EDC's purview. It was probably something that Jean did that I'm not even aware of. So maybe there should be a section. Is there a department? For a department section? Maybe not.
Yep, community development has section too.
I'm thinking that maybe some of these things should be in there. They are my pictures. That's nice. Although I think this is a screenshot from So I'm a little bit concerned about that. I feel as though it doesn't represent the EDC actually.
I would recommend, if I may, take it up.
I will be mentioning it at the next commission meeting. You can
put
be
it on,
sure.
put it on an agenda, have discussions about how you want to do it.
The fact that, thank you for that, Tammy, that Rebecca looked at it and okayed it, I now have to talk it over with her.
I would bring it up with the whole commission, the whole EDC. It's something that represents them. I think that's a conversation about how we're going to do this in the future. We're doing it a year.
If you know anything about the EDC, it's like not there. But yes, I will bring it up now, and thank you for that information. I did not have that. Tried to get it. Now I have it. So that's good. So that's my only concern about this. Other than that, the only thing I would really say is, I haven't worked on the county plan, and now that we have these extra bits of land, and my Conservation and Trails Committee is looking for a place to start a tree farm, a tree nursery. And the tree farm is problematic for that because of the ownership situation. I'm really hoping to see that we can become a little bit more entrepreneurial, especially our Parks and Recreation Department. Particularly, I'm hoping to see that the Sackville Hill biking trails can become a little bit more of a commercial draw. You're not charging anything. Right now, people can go there without a park house. And that's town-owned property. They have to pay. They have to have a park house to use Indian Brook, at least part of the year. But we have a tremendous amount of bikers that use the Sackville Hill biking trails. That I was there on a weekday at 4 o'clock, and there's 40 cars in the parking lot. I was stunned. I did not know. I'm hoping to see a little bit more of that. And I actually suggested that we maybe identify a location on the new property even before anything is built, especially because it's across the street from a bunch of apartments. We have some community gardens there. And require some gravel driveway and a little bit of a parking lot by it. And those are obstacles, but they should be surmounted, and I think there's some money. All of the community farms that the junction was providing sold out. In fact, I just interviewed the mayor of Winooski yesterday for County TV and asked about the very thing, and she says, yes, we cannot provide enough community gardens. So, and in the town plan, if you look at the word cloud for that section, community gardens is what it is. People really want community gardens. And that location is ideal because it's near an area where people don't have any land.
No good thoughts. Part of that, I mentioned the design piece that we're going to be doing over the next year in engagement. To come up with a plan for that site. And I think we talked about what is the right timing for that. Access is a huge hurdle right now. We're going to get permission from V-Trans, execute an MOU. put in new access from Oak Stage Road. There is no parking right now. But I could certainly envision, depending on how this design phase goes, and design plan for construction, could very well be a spot where we do some low impact recreation, some trails, some gardens.
How much of it did you say was undevelopable?
About, let's see, of the 32 total acres, it's about 18 developable, so about 14 acres.
That's a lot. So there's a lot of opportunity.
A lot of it's wetlands, though.
Yeah, well, that can be good for a tree nursery.
Okay.
Less water necessary.
Yep. So that's an option as far as the gardens. The Saxon Hill piece that's been on our radar, or show network in general, has been a big thing that the town is looking to work for.
We pay for the porta potty, right?
Hold on, quick budget plug. There's a trails coordinator in the budget this year, a part-time trails coordinator. So hopefully that'll help with a lot of the planning and trails in Saxon Hill and elsewhere. Yes, the porta potty comes out of the Parks and Rec budget, I believe. I'm not 100%, I'm pretty sure on that. And double check on, if you haven't looked at it, the Saxon Hill, the Community Development Department Recreation did a big visioning for Saxon Hill probably about 4 or 5 years ago. The general feedback was keep it recreation oriented, biking's important, have trails for beginners as well. One of the huge pieces of feedback was don't charge, keep it open, keep it free. So trying to, as we go forward, keep the feedback in mind, and we'll keep
I
that in
don't think
mind.
a park pass will be viewed that negatively, and you can always do park passes, subsidize them if necessary. And the folks that have memberships in Fellowship of the Wheel, which do the maintenance on those trails, that can be a park pass in effect. So if you have a Fellowship of the Wheel membership, you don't need a park pass, for example. But there are people coming from far town. The thing about Saxon Hill that's special, it dries out before any place else does. It's all sand. So it's unique. So it attracts bikers from far, surprisingly far. I think they should pay. Well, I think if you've been to Indian Brook Reservoir,
Yeah, I understand. You pay a guy to shoot it, but how much you're going to pay somebody in a bike trail? I think been on a bike trail anywhere.
because it dries.
Indian Brook is kind of a single point access.
Right.
If I want to go on the bike trail, I hop down the road and jump on the bike trail.
Yeah, and you can. And I do that at Indian Brook also. You can go around on the G Road and go back in.
If you want to put some effort in here, anyway.
Yes, people will definitely put it
But
on
you build a fence, but it seems like a bike trail. I don't know how you sort of access it.
Yeah, you can get it. You can go to Indian Brook on McGee Road. If you go down,
I'm taking it back.
There's like a 5-car parking area there.
Friggin' Hill Lane too. Not parking, but the back.
I tried that once. Not go well. I tried my Mike's electric bike.
That was what I'm saying in front of everybody.
I don't know if you know it, but Indian Brook Reservoir was not always there. And there was a road that connected from Brigham Hill Lane all the way down to Indian Brook Road. And now it's discontinued. And the section from Brigham Hill Lane down to is now just a trail.
Not a very good one, obviously, if you had trouble with it.
Oh my gosh. We'll talk about that at Conservation and Trails at some point, but yes, it's a lovely. And there's another one of those roads actually. So we still have the right of way. It's a town right of way. In fact, there's another one that connects West Sleepy Hollow to Sleepy Hollow. Same thing.
Wasn't that originally supposed to connect?
The Sleepy Hollows?
Yeah.
Probably at some point. It's a class 4 road. It used to
I
be.
just remember.
The town owns that parcel where it connects.
It's on the map. It's on the street map actually as a connected place. You can't drive it.
I seem to remember when they first started building up there, they go, you have another way out. You have to have another way out. And they were going to just bring it around.
Indian Brook is interesting. I own a property where there's only one in between my property and Indian Brook Reservoir. And I talked to that landowner actually. And it's interesting, the Conservation and Trails wants to increase our trail system, make them bigger. And I talked to that landowner, and he actually has been putting trails on his property. And I said, well, maybe you'd like to do an easement, and I'll do an easement, and we'll have another connection from Brigham Hill Road. And he goes, well, we don't want people using it. Yeah, we don't want to do an easement. It's just kind of challenging, it makes it difficult. But we're working on that.
Anything? What else? You guys were awesome to come today. It was really great. I appreciate it.
Right, and then at 6 o'clock we have this the town showcase where we have high school students going to be handing out or serving some soup.
Yeah.
All of our municipal departments, boards, and committees are going to be having tables, informational tables. If you want to hear about what they're doing, with the resource committee volunteering or something.
We have one open seat on conservation and trails. We just had a resignation. So if you'd like to serve on that committee, we have an open spot.
And then
You got
yeah,
that?
the informational piece will start at 7:30 in the
Somebody asked me.
middle school cafeteria. There's soup.
And bread.
What flavor soup do we have?
Soup and
then?
bread.
So there's going to be butternut squash, a bacon corn chowder, and a chicken stew,
Bacon corn chowder.
and baguette rolls, and we're gonna have popcorn too. So snack on.
Has it been,
Give it a show, yeah.
has it been settled yet? Which physical?
In the cafeteria.
It is going to be in the
We're
cafeteria.
trying not to make too much of it.
Which is a stage. That makes good sense, right?
The Girl Scouts are going to be selling cookies, so if you want dessert, there's always that too. That's always exciting.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming. Yeah. We'll see you on Monday night. I'm sorry, I cut you off. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
Oh, I have one more thing. So you'll get something from the conservation trail that's almost positive. Put this in the back of your head. When it comes to the landscaping of the new property, all edible landscaping.
But native landscaping.
Native is good too, and it should be something that won't be invasive, obviously. But there's blueberries, there's lots of nut trees. They don't have to be edible by humans, they can be edible by wildlife.
Then you're going to eat it all up and it's going to look terrible.
Not if it's like a hickory tree or something like that. That'll be turkey attracting.
That's what I'm thinking. It's the street trees, the parking lot trees. Yeah.
The blueberries, yes.
I have one more question. It's about the building that they're building that.
That's the
Yeah. When is that going to be all put together?
I'm on the mailing list. I get the notices every day. So the section we're working on now is the little piece between Railroad Street and the part that they already paved. That road that connects onto the park. And they're putting in the lighting and the water drainage right now. So I think they're on target to probably pave that section by the end of this one year. Yeah, I think it's going to be connected by the end of this end of the summer. Yeah, they're putting in the lights now. All the infrastructure parts of what they're doing right now. Yeah.
And start immediately then allow them to close the section of Main Street.
That section of Main Street. I used to own a business there, so we can do the chit chat about it. There was talk about doing it at least on a temporary basis. I think at this point, I don't really know what the final decision is. The last I heard, and only rumors told me, I think it's a no. We're gonna leave it open.
They're still gonna have a highway intersection.
Again, rumors. Don't know. Sure. There's a lot of local businesses that really think that that access, that parking, like Mark Holmes, Tony, he was really against it. He felt as though it was going to cut down on walking traffic. A lot of things are happening in the city. Railroad Avenue, which has Mary's Bar, I don't know if you know that building. That building sold to a handy, Tony Handy, and Sparky's is going to go in there. The barbecue place. Yeah, Sparky's barbecue.
We used to have the food cart at the corner of Dawn Hill and 15. That little white food cart that was over by Cumberland Farm. Anyway, so he's given up his food cart and they bought the restaurant.
X-Ray the barber that used to be in that white building, they moved back into the brick building. It used to be before.
Moved it into a building in California.
I just got a haircut.
Murray's Tavern, they bought the
Well, that's what we need at the Essex Experience, the barber. I'm getting tired of going into the city to get my hair.
Good for them.
And we have a lot of things happening here too. If you know, Sweet Covered is closed.
Yeah.
But there you go. But at the last EDC meeting, we met with Bubbles, Salt and Bubbles. Kayla Silver. And apparently, after the meeting, she told us that she signed a lease to move into that, take over that space. And she's going to be doing not as much grocery, but more prepared food. She says, quote unquote, in the city, you've got Martone's, you can get a great sandwich, but you can't get that here. So I'm hoping she's going to be providing something along those lines.
So Salt Bubbles is kind of the end of the street corner.
No, Kayla signed a lease. I don't know what the business is going to be called, or if it's going to be an extension of Salt and Bubbles for same home.
In addition to,
I don't know what her exact plans are, other than what I just described. Whether it will be Salt and Bubbles extended, it's probably going to be a different name. Yeah, because it's not physically connected. Watch this space, as they say, right? Watch this space.
Yeah.
So I'm excited that it won't be vacant for very long.
at one point, wasn't there a long-term plan to rebuild all of those buildings? There might be some point where we're going to rebuild them into the more, the common,
The ones over here?
where we're sitting now.
Yeah, there was, oh God,
To make it with the, like everything now is, first level,
right, so there's a couple things that come to mind. I'm not sure if either one of them's the right thing, but several years ago, the owner of this area, Peter Edelman, had talked about doing some redevelopment. I'm not sure if we ever got to the point of even submitting an application, but it was an idea that was out there. The other thing that might be triggering that is we did it's called the ETC Next Plan. It was a planning process a few years back that community development did, the planning commission did. It's called ETC, it's Essex Town Center Next Phase, essentially. So back in 1992, there was a town center development plan that was updating that, and there were some graphics that came out of the potential to go up and do more here. That's still in the works. We've been working on planning commission, zoning board, community development. We've been working on updates to the zoning regulations to allow some of that stuff to put into place some of the recommendations from that ETC Next Plan. That'll affect the Upper Main Street properties across the street as well. So it could have been some graphics that were highlighting potentially. Yeah, it might have been that. I don't remember that. So, but the possibility is there. But as you said, there's nothing hard and fast in the works.
Any inside information, other upgrades, what's called Commonwealth, little segments of
Right.
whole stage, and then you.
So that's
I know that was contingent on the building that was supposed to be built on the corner of.
right. So the planning commission and that's Rick Cove is the landlord over there. The landlord over there. There's a whole master plan for that area too. He owns everything from Choices and the Dunkin' Donuts and Phoenix and Cody's and the Orange Building, 747 Carmichael. Right. And so there's a few more lots that can be developed there, and the planning commission approvals and conditions have been that the next lot that gets developed, you have to complete that Carmichael. 4 lanes. It was, yeah, I can't remember exactly what it was. It was a lot of, it wasn't really being maintained very well, and so it's getting really potholy, it was tough to travel, it was tough with a lot of seniors living over there. So there's just a lot of concerns about accessibility, traffic. So it was like kind of temporarily open, and I can't remember the full details about that.
So if they get the development, then they'll pay to have the roads repaired. Makes sense.
But you mostly got that.
Right, yeah. The whole master plan that has, basically looking at streets, getting built out and developed and connecting here and then connecting over to the Mansfield place areas that the CVS is and some of the other facilities. We're talking about the Upper Main Street properties, very sketch-oriented design concept stuff. We probably need to do a new access point for V-Trans instead of that property. That would kind of align with some of the stuff there. Looking at sort of creating this sort of connectivity type structure over time to make it more of a cohesive town center, make it more walkable, more just more connected. Yeah. So that's, probably take years to get there, but that's kind of the concept.
Just apply for a grant to plan a connection from here over to Sacramento, a biking connection, a multi-use trail. So we'll see what happens if we get that.
Think about how that goes. From here to there.
Yeah, from the other side of the road, a bike trail, a multi-use trail, not just a bike trail, that will connect over to Sacramento.
So there's
Just a plan.
You've got the bike trail that goes around the back of the first thing.
Yeah, it would be sort of an extension. It would be like an extension of that.
so behind the post office, north of the church, there's a bunch of wooded land back there, so not town forest. Yeah, and so that's the town owns a lot of that.
On the north side.
Yes, exactly. And so that connects to some of the school properties, which, connects to some more town properties like Forestdale, across the street or two, and near the Saxon Hill. So it's kind of this wooded, there's always trails in there, but they're not paved. But that's sort of the concept of being able to link together all that stuff. But if you go on the other side of the road, if you go up over across Old Stage Road to the neck of the woods, then you start to connect to the town owns 160 acres in the corner of Old Stage and Indian Brook, back next to Indian Brook, back next to Lucy Valley Park District land, next to Colchester Town Pond. So if you can envision that, there's almost a wooded area going out from both sides of the town center all the way down to kind of the Jericho line up to the Colchester line. And so there's a big swath of land that could be theoretically, more trails, more connectivity, more recreation, kind of across the whole town like that.
There's this Act 171, which is supposed to require corridors to be maintained for wildlife, including forest blocks. So that we're getting into that all.
So the area right next to Price Chapel, that was supposedly going to be a
Yeah, I think that was again probably 4, 5, 6 years ago. I know this was after I used to be in the community development office. I was left, it was after my time there. I think there was an application that was submitted, and I think it was starting to be reviewed. I'm not sure what happened to it.
I was going to see another proposal.
Yeah.
In the meantime, you have what is this little thing they have? That little dog or pet thing they have in there in the summertime? Wag the dog or something?
Oh yeah, I didn't see it this summer though. It was there for a couple of years, but I didn't see it.
Not last summer, no, but the one before.
Dog days.
That's it. Dog days of summer. It was very good. Actually, there's a surprising number of people there.
Get a dog, get her money for part of the town budget.
There you go.
That was the tough thing. I'm not sure.
Going online and
No, I don't. I think
We
that
had a
the
couple
owner
of
probably
people,
leased it to the person who ran it. So I
but
talked to him. I was there. I don't remember his name, though.
in